the episode's title, but we're doing it.
Yeah. So copywriting is just the verbiage that you use to either sell a product, persuade somebody to do something. It's just a fancier word to say...
Text.
Yeah, exactly. It's just written content.
Right.
So, number one, somehow I got out of my...
Oh, it's right there.
Okay. Be short, descriptive, and to the point. You'll probably see this a lot on things that you click on Facebook or advertising on like inside of articles where it just says, for example, 100 dogs playing in the street. It's just literally one sentence or one phrase, and it's descriptive, tells exactly what it is, and you know exactly what's going on in that phrase. When it gets really long, it depends on what's going on, if it's going to be effective. But if you're short, descriptive, people can find out real quickly whether or not it's going to be relatable to them and whether they can keep scrolling on or not.
Right, and I think with that, I would add to use simple words.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of people get hung up on trying to use fancy words or fancier ways or nicer ways to say things when in reality the 80% of the people who are going to be reading that, I mean, depending on the audience, absolutely, but they're going to be normal people who, you know, use normal words every day.
Right. You should, one rule of thumb that's not in here, could have been a bonus later, but we'll just throw it now, is to write in a 5th grade level. So if you have kids and they're 10 years old, write the exact same way that you would talk to them, and it will be much more effective. Unless you're going after like college professors.
Right, it depends on the audience.
Right.
But for the most part, yeah, you would have to sort of dumb it down.
This sounds bad, but yes.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. Double
yeah,
and
that's
double.
a bad word, I guess, to use, but it's easier. It's simple. All right, let's move on here to number 2, which is technically I wrote here right from different points of view, but what I'm trying to hit here is to use humor in your copy.
Okay.
And this works, and actually I think I have it in my last one. I'll talk about it later. But the point that I was trying to hit here was right from different points of view. So for example, if you're a burger company and or you know, like a Burger King, for example.
Okay, I thought you were saying like nose burgers.
No, not boogers. Burgers.
Hamburgers.
And you're trying to sell this hamburger. There's a difference between you'll love our double cheeseburger with its layers of cheddar and crispy smoked bacon. It's the most popular burger we serve. I mean, yeah, it works because it describes the burger, but if you want to twist that around and use some humor, right from the perspective of the actual burger. So you could say something like, the burger is talking at this point. Psst, buddy, you like what you see? These patties are all organic. And this bacon, it's not just here for decoration. I got enough melted cheese to make a dairy farmer blush. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's a huge difference there between the first statement and the second. And you're using that different point of view. That's something that a lot of people miss.
Well, you see a lot of people, they'll do the first one, which is somewhat effective, but if you use the second one, you're going to stand out.
Right, exactly. So don't be afraid to use humor, and you don't have to make jokes. Like, that wasn't really, I mean, it's using humor, but it's not really having a joke in there. It's just a different point of view, having the burger talk.
Right.
What else you got?
All right, so normally Franklin's jumping in here and whatever, so he's just kind of manning the DJ stand. So I didn't know if you had a comment or not in between those two statements.
No, I actually don't have one. I just actually like the fact that there wasn't a punchline. And I'm trying to merge over so people can actually see me. There you go. Now they can actually see me. But yeah, you can use text like that to actually get the point across. It actually makes it memorable. Because it pulls at the heartstrings of the person, which is good.
Yep.
Yes. Anytime you can use emotion. So humor is just one of them.
Yep.
All right. So this is technically number 3, is something that we use a lot in our ad copy is to ask questions. It's human nature to, if I ask Christian like, hey, where are you going for dinner tonight? His automatic response, even if he doesn't verbally say it, he's answering in his head, well, I don't know, or I'm going to go here. Like, he's answering it. It's our human nature to answer questions. So if you ask somebody, they're scrolling through their newsfeed on their phone, that's where they're going to be, and you say, hey, do you like to have fun? And then you're like, well, yeah, I like to have fun. What's this next statement and it says, well, do you like to go, skydiving? Great. Well, then you're going to love this iSkydive place that's, cheaper, cooler, and whatever else. It's just like it gets you in and you read the second line because it's all about the headline at that point. And if you have a question that's in your headline, you're way more likely to get somebody drawn in that way.
Yeah, and that works with, I feel like we do this a lot with our social media posts, especially on Instagram, where we're asking questions in our description to get people to comment on our posts.
Well, it does work because I think one of our most recent posts, I had a quote and I said something about the content, like, are you creating good content, or like, how are you doing it? And it had like 6 or 7 comments of people, like legitimate comments. Now I hate those automation side note Instagram people, but legitimate comments that we had people just from leaving it, because people read the stuff. You just have to ask them to leave a comment.
Exactly. All right, so number 4 is do your homework. So you cannot write copy unless you know who you're writing it for, which we sort of touched a little bit before. So know your audience. You have to know how that person or that audience thinks, and you really have to know what are their needs.
Right.
You have to know all these things. You have to do your homework really and get to know your audience a little bit better than you do right now. You may know who they are, but just think a little bit deeper and try to figure out, okay, does a high schooler really need, this super fancy shoes? Like, probably not. But, I mean, you could even sell those super fancy shoes to a high schooler that doesn't have a lot of money if you do the right copy.
Right, if they're sneakerheads and you know that their interests are that they like Nike, they like all these shoe brands, and then you target them, they're much more likely. Yeah. Or I guess we're a different audience too. Like, yeah, we're all millennials, but at the same time, like millennial business owners, we got a different mentality than, say, other millennials. Right. So you could even niche it down even more than that.
Yeah.
Well, I like to think about it as in like almost kind of like whenever a comedian or someone comes to your city or your town, and the first thing that they say is, "What's going on, Dallas?" Like automatically, because they know where they are. They're trying to connect with that city because they know how prideful certain people are about their city.
Oh, heck yeah.
You can think about it in the same sense, because if you get someone that is ingrained into the brand and actually like know something about what's going on, like definitely it will be easier for you to actually communicate with that community whenever you ingrain yourself into it yourself.
Yeah, they're going to feel connected. I think I was watching Dave Chappelle's stand-up on Netflix, which is brand new. You should probably go watch it. It's really funny. But one of them, he was actually in Austin, and he actually started just like that. It's like, hey, what's up, Austin? And then he said, last time I was in Austin, and he sort of did a joke on Austin, and everyone was laughing, and everyone could relate. So right off the bat, you sort of like win the audience. And that's the same thing with advertising. You have to know your audience, and you have to know how to talk to them.
Okay, so that was going to be one of my bonus ones that I thought of, is that to write better copy, you want to go and study comedians and study performers, because they're the people, comedian especially, because they know how to win the audience, they know what to say to invoke emotion, and then a concert, because they have to get people, like, unless it's like a symphony or something where you're supposed to be quiet, most people want to be lively with what's going on.
Right.
And top performers, they do a really good job of what they say and what they do in between songs or in between their skits.
Right, yeah, that's true. All right, what else do you have?
Well, go ahead and go to the next one, and then I'll just make my last one the bonus.
Okay, so next one, actually, we've been talking about this, is to include emotional triggers. Emotions like anger, disgust, and fear can provoke, incredibly powerful responses from people. And we see this on Facebook almost every single day with every article that people share. As well as affirmation and humor, and I talked about humor a little bit. So play into people's emotions and use that to your favor. You can basically, create a piece of content or an ad that pulls into people's emotions, and you'll get a greater response if you don't.
Right. Well, so the fear one is something to, like, it could really hurt or help your brand. Like, don't go into saying, like, if you don't have a website, your brand or your business is going to fail in 5 years. That's a fear tactic that's probably going to work too, but it eventually will like hurt your brain. So try to use that one with the right.
Well, I think when I said fear, I was thinking more of the fear of missing out.
Okay, so that's glad you clarified that.
Yeah. So
not like It, the new movie coming out. Fear.
Not that kind of fear.
Okay.
But yeah, and I think Amazon actually does it quite well. And I feel like they have some sort of algorithm. They probably do. But you'll see, only one left or only 3 left of this particular item.
All right, 99 sold in this last hour, and 12 of them are only. Yeah,
exactly. So that fear of missing out will make people like, oh, there's only 3 left. I have to go buy this now, otherwise, I'm not going to get it later.
Yeah.
So that's the type of fear that I was talking about.
Crazy. It sounds like really like it's on topic. As a matter of fact, I was telling Deidre, my sister, this yesterday. How Aaron and I have been going back and forth talking to her over the phone about buying concert tickets. And they did a pre-release sale on the tickets, but they only lit 2 seats. They only basically whenever she logged in, instantly only 2 seats were there. And she said, I don't know if I should get those 2 seats. So she went out of the system and went back into it, and they were already gone. And I told her, I said, you're fine. More than likely, those were the only 2 seats that were available to begin with, to spark that fear of I might not get my tickets,
right?
So I need to get those.
Mm-hmm.
And she logged back in this morning and was able to get the first seat and the second seat on the top row where she wanted to be. She got the best seats in the house for just basically waiting. But I told her, I said, those 2 seats were gone before they even put them up there. They just wanted to spark the urgency of actually going out and buying those tickets.
Right. Yeah, they absolutely do that. And a side note for Amazon, if you go on the website, put something in your cart, and then wait a day or 2, and they'll usually throw you a discount. That's what I do. So you can trick the system that way. It works.
Yeah,
so hey, they'll get the discount and the sale, but you got to know how to work that system too. We told them not to fear it, and we're going to make them go buy it. Well, go buy it, but now get a discount.
Right.
All right, so the last one that I have anyway is and maybe this is bonus because you already did your last one. Mm-hmm. All right, so this is the bonus one, is to use quotes, especially on Instagram. We use quotes every other or every third post that we have because they do so well. People love quotes. People love being inspired, and it doesn't necessarily have to be an inspiring quote, but just a quote from somebody, it just triggers something. So if it's relevant to what you're selling or what you're talking about, then use that quote. For example, a travel company could use something like, not all who wander are lost, or something like that, but it just sparks emotion, and you're like, wow, deeper meaning, deeper feeling, I could go travel the world and, I'm not lost, but you just go into a deeper emotion. So it hits on the emotion, but we also love the quotes anyway, and we'll just stop and read them and say, okay, and they'll at least be memorable at that point.
I have another one, actually.
All right, bonus number 2. We should have if this was the podcast, it would be some kind of cool sound with the bonus sound.
We need a soundboard. We have a soundboard. We
Yeah.
can hit on it. Yeah.
Bonus.
On our to get list.
Yeah. Bonus number 2.
All right. So we're talking about advertising, and I feel like a lot of the stuff that we're talking about sort of relates to social media. Obviously, there's advertising that you can do via email. That's highly effective. Landing pages, highly effective. Mm-hmm. But and I think you can do the same, what I'm about to say, which is pay a lot of attention to your headlines.
Yes.
The headlines is probably the most important thing on your ad, besides the photo or the picture or the video that you use.
Yep.
To sort of grab their attention. But the headline is probably one of the most important things, and something that
80%,
right,
easily 80%.
That's where, especially on Facebook, I know obviously the image, if you use an image for your ad or a video, that's going to play a big role. But once they read that first heading, that first sentence, it's going to determine whether or not they'll click on the video or the picture or the link or keep reading. So it's very important to take that into consideration and really put the most effort on that headline.
Right. I think we need to do our shows for our other show, Tip for Tip, like, so we do that, but we don't have a good headline at the very beginning for it. It's just kind of like, this is the episode and this is who came on.
Right. Yeah.
So we need to do a better job of that too, like coming up with a good headline and saying, like, you know, we just need to describe the show. It's not that hard, but we need to have that good headline to bring people in.
Sure.
So.
All right. I think that was all the bonuses and all the tips that we had for today.
No, bonus number 3. I'm just kidding.
Okay. I was about to say, dang, we're on a roll today. Yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. It was a quick, short one, to the point. And obviously, all these tips are more for business owners who maybe are starting out with some of your own advertising. This is definitely not for people who work at agencies or anything like that. Obviously, hopefully, if you work in an agency, you have an actual copywriter. We still don't, but we're looking for one. Hiring pretty soon.
Well, we know of a good copywriter.
Right. But yeah, I mean, if you're a bigger agency where you're running a lot of ads, definitely need to have some people doing that specifically. But if you're a small business owner, you can read up on some good blogs out there that talk about copywriting.
And we're going to put the copy of what we just said in the description. Right?
Yeah. So you'll get all these tips. And again, hopefully you enjoyed this.
Well, yeah. Well, one other thing that I do want to say is that I've just been doing some video study, and so we're going to tell you guys to, if you've gotten this far into it, share the video.
Yeah.
Cool button to come down here or something like that. It says share. But no, just share the video, because that will be really helpful for us if you found any value in this, to share the video.
Yeah. Again, this is Brain 10, episode 133, how to write better copy on your advertising. My name is Christian.
My name is Aaron.
My name is Franklin.
Johnny.
You can actually see me on the screen. Yeah, that's me. I'm Franklin. All right.
All right. We'll see you next Friday.
Wave.
Oh.
Sorry.